What a fucking nigger. Jeez, oh my god. What the fuck? Sorry, but what the fuck? What a fucking asshole. I don't mean that in a bad way.
Revamped Elementalist Lux?
Really?
Yes.
I don't give a shit.
Nigga, you ain't funny. That's not true. Maybe you're just boring as fuck. And lame as hell. Cause only lame niggas say that shit. Oh my god.
Glasses off.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, I was actually coming out here to pick up a cupcake and then go back home.
I actually agree with him. Let's play the clip.
But even Dr. King's assassination did not have the worldwide impact that George Floyd's death did.
Okay, so there you go.
Now, after having seen or heard what all of those folks had to say, EDP, Pokimane, PewDiePie, even our own president, I just put those there so that what I say doesn't trigger you. Hopefully you're already triggered. Thus, the topics we're about to discuss, we can be civil about. We don't have to call anybody names or put anybody down for what they believe. Let's keep it 100, okay? Okay, let's get this video started. We're stepping on eggshells making this video, so I would appreciate if you left a like and subscribed before I get taken out of the YouTube algorithm, before this YouTube channel even has a chance to blow up, because I'm going to get reported for spreading hate speech or some shit. Reality. The world or state of things as they actually exist, as opposed to an idealistic or notional idea of them. That's the dictionary definition of reality. This next clip that I am about to show will give you a little idea, a little preface of the topic we're going to talk about, so bear with me.
You identify as non-binary. Now, there's a couple things here that I'd like to get out of the way. Like, anyone can use she, her, and hers pronouns regardless of how they identify. Non-binary people don't have to use gender-neutral pronouns. And your gender identity is actually separate from the choice of what pronouns to use. And so, the short answer, of course, is that I use she, her, and hers pronouns because those pronouns honor me. Those are the pronouns of my choosing. But in the interest of exploration, and in the interest of always trying to learn more about gender, I asked myself, actually, why? Why are those the pronouns that I'm using? Not because I need to tell anybody else the answer, but because I want to be able to know the answer. I really thought about it, and I came up with 2 reasons that she, her, and hers pronouns are important for me. And I'm sharing them kind of in hopes that this might spark you to ask yourself why, with regards to some of your identity work, your pronouns, or your gender expression. Because asking why is the best thing you can do to find your most authentic self. The answer might be, there's not a good reason why. And then maybe that might change something for you. The first reason I use she, her, and hers pronouns, despite identifying off the gender binary, is that I approach gender with an if it's not broken, don't fix it kind.
Okay, so after having had heard that person speak, I put the definition of reality on the screen. The world or the state of things as they actually exist, as opposed to idealistic or notional idea of them. Now, I read that off already, but I'm going to export some audio.
You identify as non-binary. Now, there's a couple things here that I'd like to get out of the way. Like, anyone can use she, her, and hers pronouns regardless of how they identify. Non-binary people don't have to use gender-neutral pronouns. And your gender identity is actually separate from the choice of what pronouns to use. And so...
Now, why do you think it is that someone would say that? That someone's gender identity is separate from their choice of pronouns to use? Oh, well, I guess that's because of gender expression or some shit like that, but also because of reality. In reality, just because you are a male who feels feminine doesn't mean that you are a female. I hope you guys are following so far. Now, you've probably been wondering, what is the relevance to anything? But what does this have to do with anything, Cliffy? I don't understand. Well, look at this new legislation. Now, just like with any bill, you can't agree with everything on it. I think that the idea of trying to include the LGBTQRSTUVWXYZ community into all of this politics and law is actually the right move. Believe it or not, I think that these people do need representation, and I don't think that they need to be converted just like most rational people. If a boy wants to express himself as he's a female, as if he's a female, then he can go do that. That's not what we're talking about here. We aren't talking about the morality of transgenderism. We're talking about gender expression here in this video. I hope that you guys have caught on. So I'm back with another vocabulary word on the screen. Conform. Comply with rules, standards, or laws. Behave accordingly to socially acceptable conventions or standards. Be similar, inform, type, agree. So with that being said, how do we view this vocabulary word? Are the people in support of LGBTQ rights trying to push the gradient and put aside the past views or values, or the heteronormative values? Or are those who oppose that side fighting to not conform? Now, this is a hard question because life isn't actually so clear-cut, black and white. I think that there's actually a lot more variables that go into such a question, and it's so complex. For example, there's a lot of civil disrest or infighting amongst the LGBTQ community because they simply cannot agree on things. Let's go back to what was said earlier. One's gender identity does not define the pronouns that they use. I believe that's the wording. What does that even mean? Honestly, I struggle to understand. That's why I'm making this video. But just look at what's on the screen. It's not necessarily the model that I need you to pay attention to. It's not even, don't pay attention to the Carl Jung part, just the words on it. These words are quite common in the quite common vocabulary when speaking about the human mind. Now, what if I told you that you are not an avatar in a video game, and some of your reality has been predetermined before you were even born, such as your name, or the amount of chromosomes you receive? Now, in self, most reasonable people, rational people, we say gender is a part of self. It's one of the things you really can't control. But gender is also arguably a part of persona in today's day and age. Your persona is what you want other people to view you as, or what you want yourself to be seen as. And in reality, no matter how much you want to deny these people of their transgenderism, you want to, it doesn't change the fact that there's gender reassignment surgeries where now we can construct someone's genitalia or other defining features to be the other gender. Thus, gender is not so much self anymore, and it's now a part of persona, I would say. Now, the next word on the screen is idea, a thought or suggestion as to possible course of action, the aim or purpose. Next, we have opinion. Opinion. A view or judgment formed about something, not necessarily based on fact or knowledge. The beliefs or views of a large number or majority of people about a particular thing. An estimation of the quality of worth of someone or something. While yes, there is fact, there's also the complete opposite, which is opinion or ideas. Not saying that your opinions are not to be accepted or concrete, or your ideas are not to be accepted or concrete. We're not arguing about that right now. All I'm trying to say is that there's a part of you that is concrete and predetermined before you are born. And then with all of that information, you can do whatever the fuck you want. You can form your persona to be Jotaro from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure for all I care. That does not change the fact that once you get into that mindset of believing you are Jotaro, that you now have a mental health disorder. I put some up on the screen, and I had the definition previously on the screen. So even something as simple as depression is a mental health disorder. You can read through the list and see some more. Now, how does this all tie back in to the question at hand, gender identity? Well, there's been so much arguing back and forth. People trying to say there's only two genders. If you believe that there's only two genders, then you were probably like at the intelligence level of me in 4th grade. After all of these years, I've come to realize that the idea of there only being two genders is incredibly flawed. Because if there are only two genders, then all of the people who are naturally being born in between intersex, something like that. Like, there's people who actually didn't go get surgery and their hormones are just out of whack. Like, there's, I don't want to say freak of nature, but that's like the best term that we have. And if you just are going to disregard those people's existence, then you're kind of just like, you're even worse than the people who are just trying to figure themselves out. I know that some of you are being afflicted by your morality currently, and it's like, say, your religion or just what your parents told you, and out of respect for them, you want to hold them at the standard of them being the divine pinnacle of righteousness. They are always right. My mommy told me that we're having spaghetti for dinner, and we didn't have spaghetti. You never told, once that happened, you didn't say, "Oh, mom's a liar. She's a cunt. I'll never listen to her again." Come on, your parents can be wrong or just not have any idea what they're talking about. Besides that, now that we've addressed the side of I'd say mostly just ignorance or straight up hate, like bigotry. Now that we've addressed that side, I would like to address the side that thinks on the level that they do, because it's insane. Now, as I mentioned before, there's actually a lot of bad blood in the LGBTQ community, I hear. Like, they're literally going at each other's necks. Now, that doesn't matter. I'm not a part of this community. I was actually told that I was a hateful bigot and that I don't belong, and so they chased me out of the rally. And since I've made it my life's goal to be more accepting and tolerant. Now listen, if you haven't already started pressing this button, don't start pressing it now, because I'm about to start speaking on the side of the community that is being protected by the bill that I introduced. So now, when I was younger, I was a really transphobic person. I was younger. I didn't understand gender. I was just so mad that people were like, "Boy and girl, you're questioning my reality. The boys and girls, boys have pee-pee. Girls also have pee-pee, but their pee-pee is inside." I thought it was that simple. Now, that's the mind of a child, and we all know that they're underdeveloped. We don't even quite truly grasp the concepts that we're like throwing around and wielding. Like, we just hear some politics on TV or at the table. We're like, my dad voted for Obama. Just that type of nonsense. But I'm not that young anymore, and thus now my opinions have formed. I formulated some more concrete ideas. I understand these concepts more, and I am here to challenge your existence as you have challenged mine. Now, in media and politics, we're seeing it right now. The collapse of our heteronormative values. I like how it just kind of sounds like some fucking horrible fall of an era, that type of shit. The fall of the great Byzantine Empire. That sounds like I'm describing the end of an era or something. But yeah, so we've been under attack. I'd say people with your typical Christian values, your typical, just rational thinkers, all confused. For the past couple of years, it's just like, okay, what am I supposed to say? If you do speak on this type of stuff, you usually just, you end up being praised by, the people who are already with you and being put down by the media. So, that's why I like to approach this topic with, lots of revere for the homosexuals. Reverence, sorry. Now look at this fact. A hypothesis is like an opinion or an idea. We all have them. We don't necessarily need them. But a fact is concrete. It's 100%. There's nothing that can change a fact except repeating the process you did to find out that was a fact, and it turns out you were just wrong, and thus you have to change the fact because now you have the truth. Facts are determined via trial and error or experimentation or observation. That's how facts work. And so now, with that being said, let's talk about the opposing side of the argument. Now, the idea that gender identity doesn't mean that you are using the pronouns necessarily best befitted for that gender is a confusing topic for me. I really just think it's like one of the stupidest things in the world. If you're a boy, why are you using the pronouns that describe a woman or a girl? That just doesn't make sense to me. Now, when I was younger, I used to be like probably the biggest bigot in the world. I was very hateful of homosexuals in particular. I was like, what the fuck? You're a boy. Why do you like boys? You know, I'm past that now. I literally was a fucking kid. I don't understand what you expect from me. But that's besides the fact. I'm just it's just so funny looking back on how I used to view these things and how I view them now. Now I'm mainly indifferent. When someone of this demeanor comes at me and they are trying to explain themselves, or I'm trying my very best to be tolerant, but sometimes it just triggers me. Like, if you're clearly a female, you made no efforts to even appear as a male, and you're sitting here saying your pronouns are he, him, what the fuck? It's genuinely starting to create a rift in, like, what actually constitutes as reality. Like, that's not supposed to be questionable. I'm not supposed to be questioning what's fact just because someone put their opinion into the matter. That's like, there's a group of dancers, right? And then a singer comes up to the group of dancers and they're like, you know what? This is what I think you should do. Like, no, the dancers would disregard what the singer has to say because the singer is literally not even in the same field as them. It doesn't make sense. I think that concepts like that are easy to grasp, but there's some that go even deeper. Like they, them, all of these new words that people are just creating to describe random feelings or random emotions. That's where we're gonna start losing it. Because now, once you start allowing people to create their own feelings and emotions, I'm not trying to tell you don't allow them to express themselves, but when other people are held to those standards, you know what's good about the terms she, he, and them? Okay, she obviously applies to females. He obviously applies to males. But them can apply to either. That's what's good about those terms, because they're definitive and they have the maximum potential of grasping the plurality of an entire situation. One person is him, but multiple people of male gender are. Wait a minute, what? Them, or hims, or he's, or theys. I don't know. I just think that arguing with people based on their opinions is literally, you're not going to be able to get anything done if you're arguing opinions, because opinions are literally worthless. Like, they actually have no value until it comes to the point of them being needed. But when you're offering your opinion and it doesn't matter, just like Ashley said, if it isn't broken, don't fix it. What is the point of a female, or it doesn't matter, whatever gender you fucking want to call yourself, what is the point of creating new pronouns? What is the actual value behind that? Is it because you want to be included? Because you want to fight the power and roll with your generation of fucking miscreants and retards? I'm just fucking around. But still, really, I really need this part of my life explained. I've been begging for the past weeks. Someone explain the ideas behind pronouns that are just randomly created. Because I swear, when my generation started making random pronouns, like, literally no one accepted it. And now, for some reason, it's like everyone has to comply or else you're a bigot. I don't know. I don't like it. I don't think it's necessarily fair. I don't think that anyone should be able to define their own things. Especially if you read the definition of opinions, it literally says what the majority accepts. That doesn't necessarily take away from one's own individual ideas or beliefs. I don't think it's that serious to where we have to be taking it as seriously as we do. I think us putting this much of an emphasis or a strain on defining these things, or making them so concrete, is actually what's creating the majority of the problem. Because when no one was really discussing it, everyone was just like doing their own little thing. Sure, I think in rare occurrences people may have been excluded or not allowed to participate type shit, but in the vast majority of instances, I genuinely believe people are respectful and they don't care. And so creating all of these groups and creating all of these new terms and all of this, I think that's really what's bringing down the agenda, or bringing down these groups in the first place. And the more that we start to have a disconnect and there's a rift in between us, the harder it will be to fix it. And so I just made this video in hopes that both sides see it and they start to realize that it's not that serious. It's really not that serious. When the fuck has anyone ever actually walked up to you and just asked you, hey, what gender are you? Like, what? When has someone's gender ever been that important of a factor in your life to where you were like, you know what? Damn, this is a girl. I'm gonna need a guy for that. besides like work or that type of thing. I don't know. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want more content like this, leave a like and subscribe, comment. Hey, I hope that you guys actually seek interaction. I really want someone to explain this whole pronoun debauchery that's going on. Yeah. Leave a like and subscribe. Peace out.